right, welcome back to Slip Joint Display. Today we are looking at a couple of Great Eastern Cutlery 38 Farmer Jacks. These are both knife number 383225. Let's get into the models. So these are Farmer Jacks, and the pattern is named the John Chapman. I saw these coming out and I was interested. The blade shape is very different. The main is a pruning blade. The secondary is a budding blade or spay blade. Last time these were released was 2015, and I don't have one from that run. So when I saw these coming, I thought it's really something different, and I was interested in it. Both of these are Titty-Ute trim. So we have the John Chapman, see here. Here is your pin. And then we've got the beaver tail, right? Here's your pin from that. So let's just clear the deck a bit. So down to the knives. So historically, a pattern like this is called a farmer's jack, right? These are named the John Chapman. Now, John Chapman is the real name of Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Appleseed, or John Chapman, was born September 26, 1774, and lived to March 18th, 1845. He was known for planting apple orchards across Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Ontario. He's kind of a folk hero, and there's, historical, legendary accounts, and then there's real life accounts of him. He was a real person. He really did live. He was known for planting apple orchards by seed, having a good nature, and not wearing shoes. I was wondering what the association was to this pattern. I mean, okay, it's a farmer's jack, and you're talking a pruning blade and a budding blade. Now, as far as the pattern is concerned, pruning and budding blades, budding on fruit trees is common. Even though Johnny Appleseed didn't do it, it's a common way to, for any farm of fruit trees, for them to handle producing new plants. So it's not a stretch to think that you had farmer's jacks on, places with apple orchards and that kind of thing. Now, as I looked into it, Pennsylvania is known for apple orchards. They're the fourth largest producer of apples in the country. And it is, I also read that Johnny Appleseed's first nursery was in Warren County, PA. That's the same as Titty-Ute. Titty-Ute, PA is in Warren County. Now, I also read his first orchard was in Ohio, not first nursery. I don't know. I'm not going to argue the history, but I think that's a fair assessment to say that's the association. And of course, you can see the guys carrying barrels of apples, and there you go, right? So that's who John Chapman was. That's where the name comes from. As far as the models are concerned, these are done very well. It's a really interesting piece. You're talking about hawkbill blades, secondary spay or budding knife, budding blade, on a 38 frame. No split back whittler this time. Single spring. And as far as the history of the pattern being called a farmer's jack, And once again, we have an interesting argument there because Great Eastern Cutlery calls these a farmer's jack, and you've got a blade at both ends. So maybe just common speak for a jackknife being a pocket knife. This one is jigged Brazilian cherry. So this is actually cherry wood that they jigged. It looks like they burn it as well. I'm assuming that's burned. But that is gorgeous. Look at that. The beaver shield in there. There's your billboard. They did a good job with these. This is actually the first beaver knife from Great Eastern Cutlery that I've gotten. The 85s were the really popular one, and I'd love to get one of those, but I've simply missed out on all of the Brazilian cherry beaver knives that have come out prior to this. But I really like this. I mean, look at that. They did such a good job. And the wood up at the top, the way that it blends in, it's gorgeous. What a great contrast between the light colored wood and the dark burnt jigging. I really dig that. Look at how good that looks. This knife to me is just screaming for a patina. I mean, I really wanted to get to this review and get it done so that I can, I've had this in the pocket for a day or so, but I really wanted to get this review done because I want to get a patina going on this, and I wanted to show it before that. I was thinking about it. I'm actually glad that the billboard on it is your typical beaver tail billboard. It's not something super unique. I won't feel bad about covering that up with patina. The other model here, simply called the John Chapman. I mean, both of these are listed as John Chapman as far as the name goes, but this one, tube and everything else, the John Chapman, is a blue denim micarta. Make sure I got that right. Faded denim blue. Okay, so faded denim blue micarta. It is different. It really, blue isn't typically, it's not too often a color we see from Great Eastern Cutlery. But I think they did a really good job with this. I really dig the star shield. That's really something different. I like that. Nice sterile blade there, not even a billboard. Let's see what we got. 383. .225. Yeah. So let's have a look around. Let's just move around these a bit. So what, 2-inch cutting, not following the curve on the hawk bill. Say 2.5 to the handle. And then if we measure just the handle, looks like a 4-inch handle, just about, something like that. Let's measure this spay. It's just over 2-inch total, just over 1 3/4 cutting. So, interesting spay blade here, or budding blade, whatever. The fit and finish is outstanding. Transitions are not there. And of course, these are Titty trim, so no fluted bolsters, and both blades are satin. The beaver shield, I dig it. There's a lot, there's a considerable amount of detail in there. Look at that. And this, this is in there. The lines and everything are cut into the actual shield. I think they did a really good job with that. The pins all look good. I don't care about flush or sunk. It doesn't matter to me. These are on cam tangs, so no half stops, so no flush at half stop. As far as the knives are concerned, the fit and finish on both of these is just outstanding. It's just, they did a really great job with them. Like I said, single spring brass bolsters. And as we have seen, we've got that gap. Although it does appear to be smaller on these models than we've seen with the last few. See that little gap? Again, guys, I think that is for clearance when the knife is being opened and that spring is moving around. You've got this extra piece in here. You're running up to that point, you know? I mean, I think if they left this out, you wouldn't have a need for that gap. But because that's in there and the spring moves, you need some clearance. But like I said, it does appear to be smaller on this one than, what was it, the Engineer? Is that? Oh, I've got one. We'll bring in the Boss. You know, the gap is pretty small on the Boss too. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But the gap doesn't bother me. I don't care. I really like this knife. That's how the spine of the blade is cut. Yeah. Nice drawn swedge on the main, and a nice drawn swedge on the spay. So these blades are really different in, you know, the shape of them. You don't run into this a whole lot. These have both been sharpened fully. I will say that they came sharper than most Great Eastern Cutleries come. At least the mains did, the main blades. I was pleased with that. I was still going to put my edge on them. Sorry, old habit. But if you are looking at picking one of these up, from what I've seen out of the tube, the blades come pretty good shape, pretty good sharpness. For sharpening them, of course, you can't just use a regular stone. What I chose to use was diamond and ceramic rods from Spyderco. Not hard to do. Just setting them at an angle, bringing the blade up. Be careful. You know, you got to go a little heavier near the tip of the knife. And then I used a pocket strap for stropping the blades. Instead of a larger strap, I mean, normally I would use a strap that size. For this, I just used a pocket strap. It allowed me to get into that area and corner the strap for the curve, and then that for the body. Both of these straps are made by Northwest Knife Guy on Instagram. At this point, his straps are the only ones I use because he makes the best straps. Hands down, no two ways about it. So, but I mean, that was how I approached the sharpening. And then, of course, on the secondary blades, it was just my normal procedure, diamond plates, and then Veneve OCBs. Consequently, the edge finish on the pruner blades is more coarse. I mean, you can see after stropping it, it's shined up a little bit, but not much to it. But, you know, that's the way it's going to be. I could try and get finer and finer stones. I think there might be some really fine shaped stones for different systems. I'm not going to bother with all that. I'm going to use what I have on hand. These got as sharp as I need them to be, plenty sharp enough. Kind of my normal level of sharpness at this point for Great Eastern Cutleries. So I was fine with it. Not to mention the fact that if you make these heavy utility and you need to continually sharpen them, you're going to want a procedure that's fairly easy. So what I was doing, I mean, even with reprofiling with this diamond, which was a little bit of a hassle, not much, but I mean, resharpening really wouldn't be a problem. Let's look for gaps. Definitely nothing significant. Maybe a grain of sand or so in there. Not much. And I'm seeing nothing on this. What a great job they did. And you really got to give them credit. They really knocked it out of the park with these. And this fit and finish is just outstanding. Better action on the micarta. Not by much. It's close, but my blue micarta has better action. Although I talked to a fellow the other night, a buddy of mine, who also got both on release, and he said that the action on his beaver was a little better than his micarta. So I don't think that that is, you know, after talking with him, I don't think that's something that is subject to the entire run. I think that's just the way it played out for me. I picked both of these up from Boss Steel Blades, like I said, on release. I was glad that Joel got these in. It worked out real well. I really, you know, I knew that I was going to get the beaver. I even remember speaking with Richter about it, you know, when we saw him coming out. But with this one as well, that blue color, I thought to myself, yeah, I want to, you know, I was curious to see what the price was going to be, but I knew that I was interested. And the price wasn't too bad, so I went ahead and picked up both. I haven't carried the blue yet. That'll be today or tomorrow, but I have carried the beaver, and I really like it. I really dig just the entire look of this. I mean, the blue micarta is good too. Let's get this close up. Just want to be able to give a close up of it, let everybody see what they're dealing with this handle. Just an outstanding job by Great Eastern Cutlery. But the beaver really, I like the look of this handle. The jigged burnt Brazilian cherry wood. I like the wood up near the top where it's not jigged. I mean, not only for the contrast, but also the look of the wood. I mean, just a little bit I can see. It looks like a really interesting wood. I don't know if Great Eastern Cutlery has used Brazilian cherry wood where they didn't jig it and burn it. It's not even, it didn't cross my mind till just now. I mean, I'm kind of riffing this anyway, just kind of going off the cuff, but I haven't even looked into it. But I would be interested to know if they had, and then to see what that looks like. Because, I mean, yeah, the jigging is amazing, and I really appreciate what they did here, but I also like the look of the wood just for the sake of the wood. But these were excellent models. Like I said, I've carried this for a day or two, and I like the way that it moves in hand. I mean, ergonomically, it's great. That spay blade really, really sits in deep. And I mean, these are pinchable all day long. Just no problem. If you want to save your nail, this is the way to go. From a utility standpoint, this blade has been really great so far. So I'm interested to see in carrying these what happens, what I notice, just as far as the use is concerned. But tell me what you guys think. Get down in the comments. Is this something you're going to go after, or, you know, after the run is passed? Is it something you're looking for, or do you have one from 2015? What are your thoughts on it? You know, the history of it, the build of it, the Hawk build, does that turn you off, or is it something that you want to grab because it's different? Let us all know. Get down in the comments, and yeah, we'll get into discussion. I'll see you guys on the next video.